I know you need to have it, but I hate paying insurance because I've never used it. And knock on wood, right?
I don't think the capitalism could survive without insurance. Business is done because there's insurance available.
There's liability insurance, property insurance, right? What other insurances, like lease insurance? Like, talk a little bit about those in real estate that you focus on.
This is Maestro Minute, the show that discusses all things real estate, sharing interviews with the most successful people in the industry. Hear from their perspective and what they are doing to achieve success. Get exclusive tips on how you can also succeed in real estate. Maestro Minute is brought to you by Maestro Development. Here's your host, Nareg Muradian.
Let's talk a little bit about insurance. Like, I personally, I know you need to have it, but I hate paying insurance because I've never used it. And knock on wood, right? And the insurance rates have gone up a lot. Why is insurance important, like from a legal aspect?
Well, I think also, even on a broader context, I don't think the capitalism could survive without insurance. Business is done because there's insurance available. And so insurance is important because it's another, in the legal context, it's another risk shifting tool that you have. So you can require in your agreements that the other side maintains insurance so that if there's any claims that they would make a claim on their insurance. But you have yourself at least in place a minimum commercial general liability insurance. Right. If something happens on your job, whether it's like workers' comp or employee, right, or auto accidents, you got to have commercial general liability. Otherwise, you're kind of like, you're out there naked. So insurance is really important.
What different types of insurances? Like, there's liability insurance, property insurance, right? What other insurances, like lease insurance? Like, talk a little bit about those in real estate that you focus on.
In the real estate context, I've seen it where in a commercial property, and one tenant's damage has caused another tenant's damage. And so as a commercial landlord or even as a commercial tenant, depending on what caused the damage, that's whose insurance would be triggered to repair the property damage. And a lot of what you've seen out of COVID is this business interruption. So you've seen a lot of companies try to make claims through their either property damage insurance or commercial general liability insurance for loss of business revenue, and the cases are somewhat mixed, I would say. But that's an area where insurance potentially could pick up, the damages. So it's important to have, and I would say to the deals you're on, to the extent you could have the other side have their insurance be primary first, and that's all negotiable. That's all part of the negotiation. So
do you get involved in insurance negotiations, or you just come like afterward when it's being litigated?
Yeah, no. So the real estate transactional lawyers that I work with, and the just transactional lawyers at Hush Blackwell that work with me on my team, that's all part of the redlining process. So we'll get a contract, or we'll draft a contract and try and make it favorable to the client, because it is really about shifting risk to the other side as much as you can. And again, it goes back to that risk benefit analysis. So depending on the deal, you may not need to do it, and depending on who you're working with. And at the end of the deal, we want our clients to close a deal. We don't want to stand in the way, right, of closing a deal. And so, that's my mantra.
Thanks for tuning in to the Maestro Minute podcast. Make sure to rate this podcast if you found it helpful, share it with a friend that could use it, and follow us on all major podcast platforms. The Maestro Minute, powered by Maestro Development.